Hi, today I would like to talk about self-worth and how nobody can define your self-worth. We have to begin by defining what self-worth is. Self and worth. It means your assessment of your worthiness. And the problem with most of us is we are dependent upon other people's thoughts and feelings about us, which are pretty arbitrary and basically put us into a position of being a victim or being submissive to external circumstance. Let's just take a look at this picture for a second. Who is this girl looking at? What are her needs? What are her wants? You see, we are looking for somebody else's reaction. That girl you just saw, that photo, she's looking at somebody. Who is she looking at? What does she desire? Because the look, the gaze that people give you tells you a lot, whether they're judging you, whether they're accepting you, whether they're looking for you to give them positive feedback. The eyes never lie. And we have to think of, why is it that we have this gaze? Why is it that we have this desire for somebody to recognize us? This is where we can take a page out of Jacques Lacan's book. Jacques Lacan was a French psychoanalyst, and he came up with a theory called the mirror phase. What is the mirror phase? The idea is basically that a young child, like 2 years of age, that sort of thing, 3 years of age, they're trying to get a sense of self. They're trying to find their identity. And the only way they can do it is by looking at others around them and copying the others around them. And in the process of copying the others around them, they're basically mirroring the other person. If we look at our faces in the mirror, we're actually seeing the inverse, the reverse image. And that's why when we look at a photograph, when we look at a video, we often get a shock. We don't like the way we look because we spent an entire life looking at a mirror image of how we look rather than how we really look. And I think Lacan found this to be a nice analogy for the development of the human mind, that we attempt to copy the world around us, to mirror the things around us. But the things we're mirroring are fabrications, a small little child who misunderstands so many things. So the child learns to love or want or desire certain things, to be a certain way. You'll see this with, say, small girls might dress up like their mom, or boys. When I was a young boy, I had a toolkit and all this stuff. We're getting identifications. And it doesn't matter what the identifications are. The point is they're very arbitrary and subjective. And the whole idea of this mirror image is not really who you are. So the basis of the mirror image is that there's kind of a real you and a not so real you. I think maybe Lacan probably didn't think of a real you, but he just thought that everybody was in error in how they saw themselves. This error we can call cognitive dissonance, that we don't really see things as they are. Personally, I do believe that we have a real self and we have to find that real self. Either way, early in life, we get attached to this external way of thinking about things, that we're always looking for somebody else to approve us. And we see this a lot in their fantasy lives. So many people, probably everybody, has these sort of fantasies whereby they're standing up in maybe on a stage or somewhere like that, and they're successful, they've got an award, they're famous, they got money, and people are clapping their hands and people are adoring them. We all have these silly daydreams, or we see somebody that we find sexually attractive, a little fancy about how they're crazy about us and stuff. So basically, this is a fantasy designed to boost us, because it puts us in the center and we're getting all the accolades and the love that we want. Now, there's also the opposite of this. Another common fantasy people ever should say dream is the dream where we're in front of a crowd of people and we've no pants on and everybody's laughing at us. That is basically an anxiety dream. And deep down we have this anxiety that people are not going to accept us because we're looking for this external something. So we're basing our reality on an external self-identification. I'm identifying that I am worthy when certain people like me. I am worthy when I have a certain physical appearance, when I have a certain amount of money in my bank account, when I have a certain kind of a job profile, then I am successful. And if I don't have these, I am not successful. So our self-identity is externalized, and it has to be self-externalized. But the result of this is our self-worth is also externalized. Now this is fine up to kindergarten, to be a small 4 or 5 year old kid, but beyond that, it really doesn't make any sense to be focused on what other people think about you. So I think it's a good thing to be concerned about others, to be interested in others, to want to have a relationship with others. I'm not saying that we should be hiding away and being like staying in our house all day and never relating to anybody, not caring about anybody. We should care. But should we be so concerned about what they think and feel of us? Because the problem is that their thoughts and their feelings are somewhat arbitrary. This thing works well if you're a big success in life, if everything's going well. What if things don't go so well? What if things turn sour for you for whatever reason? Then you're going to lose your self-esteem. So as long as you're basing your self-esteem, your self-worth on what other people think or feel, you're really a prisoner and a victim to other people and external circumstance. So how then can we boost our self-esteem or self-worth? My recommendation is to do diary writing. Now, when I say diary writing, just write every day if possible, or at least once a week. The key thing here isn't so much that you write every day, but rather that you write on a regular basis. Because what we're looking for is a kind of a reflection of the reflection. So our life is a reflection. Our life is a reflection of values. I'm driving my car, who's looking at me when I drive my car? I'm putting my makeup on, who's looking at me when I walk down the street with makeup or with a nice handbag, or I've got my jeans on, I got my jacket, I got my shades, who's looking at me? We're continually thinking about how other people think about us. So this is a reflection of reality, the mirror phase, but by diary writing, we get to see another image. And I wouldn't worry too much about writing everything. Some people are great diary writers. A lot of people are intimidated by the idea of diary writing. And it doesn't matter that every detail of your life is there. More that things that were interesting are there, things that stood out for you. The ideal thing I'd recommend you do is every day try and write down what happened that day. At least try a little bit. And it doesn't matter if you skip a few days. The point is we're trying to see a bigger picture. I remember many years ago, my first exposure with psychology was when I went to a counselor, and for a couple of months we explored my life story, and really I found it very interesting. I could start gaining perspectives. Now the perspectives in many ways were skewed and inaccurate. I started seeing what I really think and what I really feel, and before that I never really thought about it. So when we do a bit of diary writing, we started getting a picture of ourselves. It's not picture perfect, it's not objective, it's a picture of ourselves. And when we get this picture of ourselves, we can start doing something with it. Because we start seeing, what do I really think? What do I really feel? What is my value system? What are my hang-ups? What are my hurts? What am I striving for? It gives some kind of perspective. All self-development work is based upon self-reflection and gaining perspectives. I said earlier about cognitive dissonance. We're basically all suffering from this. And I would say there's two major things I would see when people start doing diary writing. The first thing is you'll start realizing that you're hard on yourself. Most people are too hard on themselves. Their standards are too high in some ways, and that they're judging themselves, for most people. The second thing you'll start realizing is that you're judging others. It's very easy to judge others and blame others, and people have hang-ups about the world, political groups, people with different opinions on themselves, people from different backgrounds, different countries, different industries, their family, their friends, their neighbors, themselves. So we're not just judging ourselves, we're judging others. And there's a tendency for a lot of people, they're so hung up and hurt about how this group of people thinks this and how that's unfair in society and how this is unfair for me and so on. And they're thinking about things which aren't even in their life and upsetting themselves and creating a lack of peace because they're so worried about the world. They're so worried about other things. So they're worried about themselves and they're worried about the world. And if you're so worried about, first of all, if you're worried too much about external things, you're losing your peace of mind over stuff that you can't change. The second thing is worrying about yourself too much and being too self-focused. So these two things will come up when you start doing diary writing. You'll start realizing that, wow, I'm really judging myself a lot. You'll also start realizing, wow, I'm really judging other people a lot. And that is the beginning. What can you do to go beyond this? Well, I think two good areas to start. One is mind feed, and the second one is to look at positive self-affirmations, otherwise known as self-auto-suggestion. Now, mind feed is basically putting positive thoughts and feelings in ourselves, because we need to start having an intrinsic self-worth. What's that mean? Intrinsic self-worth means a self-worth that's not based upon what other people think. So long as I'm worried about what other people think or my external circumstances, it's fickle. I need a worth that's there, whether I'm rich or poor, skinny or fat, old or young, in the good books or in the bad books. I must have a self-worth regardless. So when we do mind feed, there's an awful lot of great content out there, and you're going to find some interesting concepts if you're new to it. If you're old to it, of course, you kind of know this, but if you're new to it, you're going to find things like victim consciousness and how people are victimizing themselves. You're going to find things like positive self-regard, whereby we learn to just love ourselves regardless, and many other concepts. And even if you've been doing this for a while, even if you've been doing this for decades, it's good to have a regimen of mind feed, because we're surrounded by people who are negative. Our neighbors, our family, our friends, the world in general is negative. The news is always negative. So we have to counterbalance that. We have to give ourselves, whether it be reading books, whether it be watching videos, audios. Audio is a great one. When you're driving, when you're doing work, you can listen to inspiring audio. You don't just have to look at Instagram Reels and TikTok videos. You can actually listen to good quality audio that empowers you. And it doesn't always have to be like self-development. It could be about listening about philosophers or the history of the world, or something interesting, or something about the history of art, the history of sports. Anything that helps you feed your mind with something that's positive and upbeat. The second thing I would add in is positive self-affirmations or auto-suggestion. If you want to know more about it, you can check a video. I have a video here. You can check that video, and I give it everything you want to know about auto-suggestion. So there's a good beginning. But the bigger picture view, the bigger thing to get into is trying to get a picture of yourself and trying to gain some perspectives. When you gain those perspectives, you can start working on yourself, and you'll start realizing, like I said, that you're judging maybe others too much, that you're judging yourself too much, and you will start to realize your cognitive dissonance. You'll start to realize that you weren't right in all of your evaluations about yourself and the world around you. And it takes a lot of humility, okay? But in the process of doing this, we start finding out what's real. And when we find out what the objective reality, and nobody can ever find a full objective reality, but we start finding some degree of the objective reality, we start realizing sort of little mini epiphanies now and again, whereby, oh, I was wrong about this. Oh, I was wrong about that. Whether it's judging myself or judging others or how I evaluate the world in general. We start having these little epiphanies. And in the process, this is an ongoing process, month by month, year by year, decade by decade, for the rest of your life. If you self-reflect and if you work on yourself, you'll keep on having little, slightly humiliating experiences of realizing, oh, again, my ego was too big. Oh, again, I judged too much. Oh, again, I got the wrong end of the stick. And not only will you find this about yourself, but you start realizing when you look at other people, I was judging them too much, because they also have cognitive dissonance, but maybe they have no self-awareness. Most people around you in your life have no self-awareness. So you can judge them and you can say, well, they're lousy people, and they might be lousy people. But most of them are ignorant people. According to Lord Buddha, Gautama Buddha, he said that all the problems of life are caused by ignorance. Jesus on the cross says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So when you start realizing that you've been conning yourself, and you start realizing, everybody's conning themselves. You start realizing how arbitrary people's viewpoints are, and how subjective people's viewpoints are, and how somebody might not like you and they could be completely wrong. But also, why am I getting hung up about it? Because ultimately, they are in a state of cognitive dissonance. And to some degree, I am as well. And it's ongoing, the deconditioning process, ongoing process. And that's where real growth comes. And getting back to the earlier point I was making, self-identity begins by external identifications. And so as long as we are basing our self-worth on externals, we are victims to externals. And the only way we can get beyond that is by self-reflecting. When we self-reflect, we start to see what we really think and what we really feel. And we start to find out what our value system is. Now, over time, what you'll find is you'll keep reevaluating yourself and realizing that you're changing your values and changing your thinking. And you'll go back and look at a diary you wrote 2 or 3 years ago, and you think, wow, I was very prejudiced, and I was very negative, and I was very judgmental. And that's good. If you look back last year and think you're a bit of an idiot last year, that's good. You've learned something, okay? So that is the key, I would say, to self-worth. Very, very simple. Stop basing your self-worth upon what other people think about you. But I know it's harder to do than you think. As I said earlier, we've all sorts of fantasies and so on. But the only way forward is using our cognitive function. Our reasoning mind is the only thing to get us out of there, by reflecting, by writing in the diary, and reflecting upon our experiences and starting to see how we can think differently and how we shouldn't judge ourselves so much, we shouldn't judge others so much, and we'll improve our value system, and we'll start affirming ourselves and affirming others, and developing this aspect of positive self-regard, that we have an intrinsic self-worth regardless. And with that comes compassion, that we start having compassion for others and realizing I must give these people a sense of, I respect their self-worth. They might be full of shit, but I must respect that they have a certain self-worth as a human being. And this is humanization, the humanization process. So that's in a nutshell how to boost your self-worth is by not letting other people determine your self-worth, but it takes a bit of work if you want it to work in the real world. I hope this is a bit of a complex task or topic, and we'll look at it again, and we looked at it before. So have a look at other videos in this channel and other videos YouTube, which will give you some insights about this topic, okay? So don't base your self-worth on others, and learn about yourself and get stronger yourself. I do hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe if you do, and I'll talk to you next time.